Hey YouTube, Skipper T here. Today has dawned sunny and bright, so I thought I would do a 4-saw saw-off. And today's contestants are going to be the Camelus. It's a little T-handled saw, extremely short, about a 4.5-inch blade on it with this little hook feature on the end here. I don't think it's going to do too well. I like the handle, I like the concept. But the problem is with a 4.5-inch cutting surface, you're not going to be able to go through much more than maybe an inch, inch and a half piece of wood. And we're going to find that out for sure when we go outside. The next contestant is going to be the Couglins. Folding saw. Does have a little latching mechanism up here, so you can put the saw into place. 7-inch blade on it. It's a wood imitation rather. Plastic handle on it, extremely lightweight. Got this for about $9.95 at one of the big box stores in the camping section. Does have some nice aggressive teeth on it, and I think it's going to do pretty well, but we're going to find out for sure. The next contestant is going to be the venerable Laplander, or Bahco Laplander saw rather. Again, 7-inch blade, nice aggressive teeth on it. This is a tried and true component out there. This is about $24.95 on Amazon, but a lot of folks have these, swear by them. They're actually a very nice saw. And then at the end here, we're going to be using the Corona razor tooth saw. Again, it's got a locking mechanism, holds it out. This one differs by the other two in the fact that it's got a 10-inch blade on it versus a 7. So this is going to offer a little more versatility, but we'll compare the cutting ability rather, to the other two that are here. And this one's a little bit heavier, but anyway, I think we should just get right down to it and see how they do. So stay with me. We'll get the stump set up, and I've got an inch and a half piece of silver maple that came out of my tree in the backyard. I've also got a piece of cherry tree limb that I had cut off from a cherry tree in the backyard. Nice hardwood. We're going to see how well these saws do on that. And again, stay with me, get everything set up, and we'll get out and get to sawing. Okay guys, we're going to start with the Camelus saw. This has got that 4 and about a 1/4 inch cutting surface, doing a 1-inch, 1.5-inch cut on this tree. Went through it nicely. Again, it's only about 1.5 inches wide. Now we'll use the Couglins. Okay, went through it with no problem whatsoever. Now we'll try the Bahco Laplander. Went through it like butter. And I tell you what, the $25 saw versus the $9 saw, I gotta tell you what, not a huge difference in their performance. Obviously the Bahco is going to be built better, but honest to God, for a budget saw, that Couglins is just rocking it. Now we'll do the Corona razor tooth in the 10-inch version here. A lot more aggressive teeth. Nothing to it with the big one. So, we've just seen how well these saws will go through a 1-inch piece or 1.5 inch piece of wood. Let's see how they fare on this piece of cherry tree here. Now this is about maybe 2¼ inches. Man, that is one tough tree. Okay, just as I surmised, I think this one just fell out of the running. Very difficult to operate, doesn't like this harder wood, and you just don't get enough of a stroke with it. Let's try Kugelens. Just kind of go right beside it here. No problems, no issues, cut very well. Let's try the Bahco Laplander. Nothing to it. Tell you what, this and that Kugelens, they're so similar. The teeth design is a little bit different, but both of them function so very well. Now the Corona razor tooth. Let's get past this little knot here. Again, one of my favorite saws in the whole wide world. This thing works so well. Alright, let's flip this dude over. Let's see if we can go through a little bit larger piece. Figure out a way to stand that down. Got a bit of a knot right here in the first inch. So I think we'll take that down a little bit. This dude is out of the running. Let's go with the Kugelens. I hope I missed that knot there. Okay, my arm's getting tired. Can't quite do that with two hands. And this is some hard wood. Have to rest for a second. Okay, went through it. Nice smooth cutting pattern on that. Very nicely done. All right, let's try the Bahco. Got to stand up and save the back a little bit. Again, very nice cut on that. A little bit rougher than what the Kuglins did. I would call the two of them just about a tie. Boy, they both cut well on the pull stroke. It's amazing. Let's try the Corona. Okay, another nice cut there. All of these really make for a nice angled cut. All right, stay with me and we'll wrap this up. Here we are, back inside. So we've done some sawing with these. Gloves off here, kind of get everything wiped off and down. I did a little bit of this before, but anyway, so you guys have seen this now. You've seen how they've done through all of the different gyrations and the different sizes that we've got. Obviously this one failed after the 1.5-inch one simply because it's just not long enough. I like the concept. I don't like the hook on the end, although, you know, it may not be a bad thing, but if it was about 3 inches longer, maybe 4 inches longer, it would be pretty good. I did like the ergos on the handle here. You can put it in between your middle knuckles. You can carry it up to the top. This was not too bad. It just isn't big enough to do the thing, and it fell out pretty quickly. The Kuglins and the Bahco Laplander, I got to tell you what, guys, they came in pretty much dead even as far as cutting ability was concerned. This is a touch lighter than this one, although both very light. If you're on a budget, the Kuglins for $9.95 at a box store, not a bad saw. In fact, I wouldn't hesitate to carry this one with me anywhere. If you're on a budget and you don't have a lot of money to spend and you don't have the $25 this one costs, this $10 saw, gee, many Christmas, does it work good. I would have no compunction whatsoever walking out with this in my backpack. Again, it's like anything else, you just got to take your time and do things correctly. And I think this thing would last you a long time. One thing I did do when I first got this was I tightened up the screw here. It was a little bit loose. But other than that, I got to tell you what, for a $10 saw, guys, you cannot beat this thing. And you've seen in the video how well it cuts. OMG, I think I would buy one of these, especially if you're on a budget or just getting started, or you've got a kid going to college, you're putting a pack together for them. You got a Cub Scout, a Boy Scout out there that's getting ready to go camping. You can't go wrong with this $10 saw. At 2.5 times the price, at $25, obviously the Bahco Laplander is tried and true. It's proven itself time and time again. It's got a nice locking mechanism on it. It's got a good handle on it. It doesn't slip in your hand, especially when you're wearing gloves when you're cutting. I got to tell you, these two, comparatively speaking, I'd go with either one of them. If you're on a budget, this $10 job here will do the trick and do very well, as you've seen. If you've got the money and you can afford the upgrade to this, then go for it. Both of which just cut very, very well. And then, of course, there's the Mac Daddy, the Corona razor saw or razor tooth saw. Again, the 10-inch blade on this just makes it so much easier. You saw at the end, man, my arm was fatiguing on that, getting real tired out there, and this dude just cut right through it. You know, all the different sizes from the 1.5 to about that 2.5-inch piece to that 3.5, almost 4-inch piece. Hardwood, walked right through it. $19, $5 less than this one. Twice the cost of this one. But it's, again, twice the saw. You can see the difference in the sizes here. If you've got a pack and it'll accommodate this, I would highly recommend the Corona saw. I've been carrying this thing for about 3 years, and I really like it. It's just a great saw. It's a lot heavier, about twice the weight, maybe even slightly more than twice the weight of this one. But, you know, you also have a bigger piece now that you can cut as far as diameter is concerned. The other side of that is you know, obviously it's extra weight in the pack, things like that. The next thing that you've got to determine is, you know, how big a piece am I going to cut? Am I carrying a hatchet? Am I using my knife to baton down through wood to create the kindling and things like that? So a couple other things that you need to be aware of. If I was in a bug out situation and I had to leave the homestead, I would take this with me because obviously then I'm going to be able to cut bigger material. Overall though, guys, great options. Not so much, only because of the size. And the teeth themselves are very narrow or very shallow in a cut compared to, for example, this saw. Don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you'll see it. You can see it on the video outside. Novelty item, last case, $4.95. Don't waste your money. Just isn't going to perform well. These other three, though, absolutely fantastic. Any one of them are going to go great. Price point and ability to saw on this one, scale of 1 to 5. I think I'd probably give this one a 4.5, simply because the lock mechanisms on it is a little bit different than the other two. But at the same time, you can see if it's working, and this little piece of metal that locks down here could be replaced even with a paper clip if necessary. But for 10 bucks, I gotta give this thing an overall value and overall cutting ability. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 because it did fantastic for a cheap little saw. Again, if you're on a budget, buy this saw. You will not be sorry. If you can spend 2.5 times the money, the Bahco Laplander, again, probably about a 4.5, maybe 4.7. It's tried and true. It's been out there forever. Everybody's got one of these. A lot of folks have one of these. They're just tried and true and proven very good. My only problem with this is the fact that it is 2.5 times the cost of this one. You are getting a much better quality than this, obviously. But if you're getting started, this $10 jobby right here will definitely work for you. Again, take your time, do it the way it's supposed to be done. The Bahco Laplander, I mean, what more needs to be said? There's 1,000 videos out there. This thing is just absolutely fantastic as well, but it's the most expensive of the 4 saws that are sitting here. The Corona razor tooth saw, once again, you know, I'm going to give this one a 5. I could give it a 4.7 because it weighs a little bit heavy, but it has done everything I've asked of it to do, and I just absolutely love this saw. Plus, you can go down to any big box hardware store, at least Lowe's and Menards that I'm aware of, maybe Home Depot. I don't get to shop there very often because the closest one's about 35-40 miles away from here. But for $19, this being the mid-range as far as price is concerned, 10, 20, 25. So anyway, guys, you know, if you're going to go out and you're going to carry one, I use this around the house. So, you know, this comes in handy for a lot of different things. But anyway, guys, that's kind of my review on it. If I was going to place them in order, this would be my #1 saw, even though it's larger and heavier, but it just offers more options. I think probably second would have to be the Bahco, simply because it's a tried and true and proven saw that's out there. Again, though, it is the most expensive saw on the table. And if I was on a budget or just had somebody that was putting a pack together, doesn't spend out a lot of time outside, just needed something for an emergency, all day long would I fill the packs with this little dude. I was super impressed with this $10 saw. I don't know what else I can tell you about it, but for 10 bucks you can't beat it. And it has the same length blade as the Bahco, so you know, either one of these would be good. Now, if you spend a lot of time outside, I would go with the Bahco because it's a little bit heavier duty. But again, if I'm going to carry anything, it's going to be the Mac Daddy. I'll take this one all the way to the end. Anyway, guys, that's the review of the saw-off that we did today. Hope you enjoyed this. Remember, keep your heads up, keep your eyes open. We'll see you outside.